We are back. We are back. It
Little
was all my
hiatus.
fault. I was gone.
Oh, it
I
happened.
was traveling through the mountains of Europe. No, I'm kidding.
Wouldn't that
I'm
be
kidding.
nice? Oh my
That would be
gosh.
amazing, but
Wouldn't
I
that be
wouldn't
great? I
make
just
it. I
realized
would
my
not make
logo's
it
all
past
messed
the
up.
foothills.
Oh,
It's I, I I wouldn't even pass the entrance to the foothills.
oh.
No,
No
no, no. Anyway,
backpacking in
so
the
I
Alps
had
for
some
you.
personal, I had some personal things that just unfortunately was right over our time. But I am so happy to be back with you and with Gabby. Well, I just gave our names away, but I'm Anthony,
I'm
and
Gabby.
that's Gabby, and we're voice actors talking about voiceover, and it is great to be back. If you're new or just seeing us, hit that like and subscribe button,
Yeah.
and leave comments in the chat. Say hello, where you're from, what you're doing, and yeah, today we're going to talk about awareness in voiceover in general, like awareness of your audio, awareness of directions for submission, awareness of what's going on around
Mm,
you. And
mm.
also, but on a side note, before we even get into that, Gabby, I did a TikTok live. The first time I ever, have you ever done a TikTok
No,
live?
no, I have not.
I had no idea what I was doing. So I
Ah,
had this idea. This was last week, but I had this idea that I do TikTok live because you always see TikTok live and there people are doing and also you could maybe make some money from TikTok,
well, sure.
right? So I went on there. I had no idea what I was doing. My idea is that I would do people would put they would say stuff in the comments and I would do it in a movie trailer voice. So,
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah. And that was when I would do different characters in different lives, right? And they would, people could write stuff. So it was funny. So Angela Olfest was there, so she was putting some pretty funny stuff in there. And then some other guy put some stuff about farts and stuff, and I thought it was
Oh
funny.
dear.
I'm doing, in a world, right? Doing all these things, right? Um, yeah, exactly. Somebody having fun with that. But I
Of
thought it was pretty
course.
fun. But anyways, it was really interesting
Huh.
because there was all of these there's I'm so out of it, but like there's roses, there's all these gifts and things that people
Mm-hmm.
give and things, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
attached to money. There's things that are attached to money and everything. So, anyways, I thought was and then you get based on tiers how much money you make. Like you have to keep streaming, it's just like a gamification system they have. So the more you stream and the
Jeez.
more you do, the more cut and money you make from the people giving you stuff and everything like that. So, anyways, that was interesting. I felt so funny because I didn't know what I was doing at all. And it's like, ask for roses. I'm like, what's a rose? What is it? What is someone's like, what is these things? What's a star? I don't even know. You know what I mean?
So are you saying that we should be doing a TikTok live every
I
day as
mean, well, I
well?
wish. Here's the thing. The problem is that I'm on a Mac,
Mm,
not a PC. And
okay.
Riverside allows us to stream to TikTok, but the challenge is I can't because I'm on a Mac, and you can do it, but you have to go through some websites other than. So I have to look because most of the people you see are streaming through a PC, right? Usually, and so I did it through my phone,
Oh, that's what I was gonna
but
say. What
but
about
it
doing
it,
it
it
through
is very interesting. Well, I mean, you could do a
mm,
whole phone on a side thing, but then it
uh-huh,
wouldn't see both
uh-huh.
of us; it would just see me. So any Hoosers, it's just an interesting thing. Got to keep working on it.
Wild.
But so, anyways, hello, John, Kat, good to see you guys. So awareness. So I wanted to get into talking about. See, there's a good point about awareness. What are you aware? But one of the things I wanted to be talk about today was the understanding what's really happening, being aware of what's really going on with
Mm,
parts of your voiceover business. And what I mean by that, simple case in point, audio. So under being aware of what is happening with your audio when you submit something, and are you not possibly getting work because it's something else than you think, right? So a lot of times, if you've been doing this for just a little bit and you're auditioning and you're doing these things, you're not getting jobs. The first thing you begin to think, or it creeps in your mind, I suck. Like I'm no good at voiceover. Like I'm a bad actor. Like no one wants to. My
mhm,
acting is horrible. No one said that to me, of course, because no one's giving me any feedback. But
mm,
I'm not getting work, so it must be my acting,
mm,
right? And in the meantime, right, a lot of times it's not that. it can be something else. Like maybe you're not aware that your audio is really not firing on all cylinders. And because remember, the people are not, we've talked about this a bunch throughout the thing, right? You're not going to get feedback from, casting agents. That's not their job. They don't have time
No,
to give you
no,
feedback, right?
you don't.
So you're not going to know. You just don't get the job.
Right.
And then you think it's one thing when in reality it could be something completely different. Another case in point,
Mm,
directions. Maybe you're doing something and you're not submitting the files the way that you were asked, and you don't even get looked at, but you're like, I just suck. I'm no good at acting. That's the problem. You know what I mean? And
mm,
this is one of my favorite ones, and I'm not putting anyone down, right? Because at all, other fellow engineers. But one of the famous things is I went to an engineer and they gave me they put together a
yeah.
a rack for me or whatever,
Yeah.
a chain, and so that's just what I use. And then I listen to this stuff and I'm like, I don't even want to know who did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who did it, but I don't even want to know a name because I won't have
Mm,
nice things to say.
mm.
And now, how do you combat this? Okay, well, I'm on a roll. What about you think, Gabby? I'm just kind of like,
I mean, I think that one of the most important concepts for an actor is know thyself,
mm,
because that awareness is how we understand where we are best suited,
hmm
the roles that we play, why we play them. It's how we eliminate things that really aren't right for us. It's how we look at a script and go, yes, absolutely, this is a project I want to go after, or maybe I'll leave this for the next person.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's such a core, yeah, fundamental thing of how we function in this, vast industry of performance. But I do think it bleeds over into other areas, because you're right. Awareness of self. I mean, whatever you want to call it, awareness of business. Some people see it as awareness. Some people see it as mindfulness,
hmm
right? But it is being able to objectively. That's the key word. Objectively look at what you're doing, assess your situation, assess your equipment, your
oh
sound, your
yeah,
performance, and then be able to make modifications as needed. I always tell my students, I'm like, subjective has to go. You got to take subjective out, because subjective is mean, and it's not productive. And usually it's a negative voice. Subjective thoughts have very bad things to say. And I always say, don't talk about my friend like that. Because
absolutely.
yeah,
That's funny.
we don't want to do that
That's
to
funny.
ourselves. Yeah.
I love the know thyself.
Mm,
I've said that a bunch of times. You have. I believe it wholeheartedly.
yeah.
And part of knowing yourself is also knowing what you're good at and also what you're not good at,
Mm-hmm.
and then accepting that. I remember early on, I had done. It was in my first house when I was first trying voiceover. I had hired this guy to edit my work, and I edited my work, and processed it, and had him process it. Same one, and I had my family listen to it as like a blind test to see which one they thought was better. Now,
Mm.
when I listened to both of them, I picked mine. My whole family picked the other guys.
Oh, wow.
When
Mm.
I first started, and
Oof,
that was
that stings.
right, right. This was just the beginning. When I was first starting out, and in my my not treated well enough hobo fort. But the point I'm trying to make is that and it made me stop back again, step back, and be like, okay, I need to. I'm not hearing what everyone else is hearing, or maybe I'm listening to something else. You have to accept what it is that you're getting feedback on, because sometimes I see people, better for worse, they're so sure that they're right,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, that it's hard for them to move forward. But
Yeah.
here's another thing, maybe over time, so for me over time, you know what I mean, and a lot of my training, everything, I was able to really get way better, and after all the audio and then all the working with people and stuff, I feel like my ear is way better now. But some people, and I know this because I've been around, there's some things that I just don't hear very well, like not hear, but I don't do very well, and there's things that other people don't do very well, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And all that means is, as a business owner, part of our job as business owners is to deal with the challenges and come up with solutions, even if the solution isn't we're Superman, meaning like we can do it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes where you're just that's not your cup of tea, and that's okay. That's normal. Do you know what I mean? So that means you lean on other professionals to assist you. There is no, think about this. There is no profession, no sport, no educate. There's nothing in the world that any of us do that we don't have some sort of training or
Yeah.
assistant,
Yeah.
or we work with other professionals to help us. There's nothing. Think
No.
about that.
We are
I
not to
mean,
the manor born unless you are making the thing up.
no,
Yeah.
no, and for some reason, I don't know. Somebody told somewhere, voice actor somewhere, that that's not for us. Like you got to be all encompassing on your own or something. If you're not, this isn't for you, and
Yeah.
that's just not true at all.
Not. It's not. There's something else to that that is really important, which is just knowing and understanding that on the flip side, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should
Mm.
do something, right? That's where that that
The story
scale
of my life.
of like
Just because you can doesn't mean you
just 'cause
should.
you can
Amen
doesn't
to
mean you
that.
should. I mean, it's kind
The
of like,
coffee raise for that.
yeah, sometimes we see a script or a character and we want to try, right? We want to go after it. We want to make a valiant effort. But then you go, I'm 46 years old. Should I really have gone out for the audition where I was trying to be a 19-year-old?
Right.
Just because I can doesn't
Oh,
mean I
and then
should.
then you put
Yeah,
yourself down because you think, oh, something's wrong with me. I
right,
didn't do good.
right, right.
Yeah.
And then and you're right because it does. The trickle down is that it really affects people's mindset and their brain when it comes to, well, when they start looking at metrics, right? When they start looking at their stats, their booking ratio. I auditioned 500 times and I've only booked 2 jobs. But let's talk about those 498 jobs.
Right.
Were
Right.
all of them a good fit? Was your performance up to par on all of them? Was your audio in great shape on all of them? Like there's so many
Oh my
variables.
goodness. You're absolutely right. I often look at too, when we get to a place like that, I'm always thinking as well, how is your interpretation of well, basically what you're, it's the same sort of thing going a
Mhm,
little bit deeper, as you said, are you a right fit? Basically, how is your interpretation of what they're asking for?
mhm, mhm.
Are you getting, or at least are you somewhat on the same page in the fact of what they're asking for, and then listening to your audition? So a lot of times,
Yeah.
what most people will do is they'll just look at your metrics and say, gosh, that platform sucks, or it's just not working out for you or something. But a lot of times, and the whole point about awareness too is understanding, exactly what you said. Was that actually, was all of these uh, uh, something that really you're going to be hired for?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, did you understand what they were looking for?
Mhm.
So your delivery, are you and I'm just going to use a over the top thing here, but are you like for a that Mika, is it Mika car insurance? Have you all heard that
Amiga,
yeah,
Amiga,
Mika.
yeah.
So that
Mhm,
was a very unique, I mean, you think of that guy, that one guy who does their stuff, it's a very empathetic
mhm.
type of, he's like, oh, it's Mika. We love you. Which is, it's a very warm feeling, right?
Yeah.
Are you going in to be like, Mika, this is good car insurance? Like, are you, right? Like, it's just a totally different, even though you might have killed that style you did.
Mm,
Like, you might have been knocked that style out of the water, but it
right.
was not anything close to what they were looking for. And of course, you can always make the argument, well, they didn't give very much directions. All right. So that is true. But
Mhm.
also, are you aware of the words that are being used? And can you make
Yeah.
some interpretation? Now, there are a few cases where that's not the case. And we all always scratch our heads when that is. Right, like I had one
Mhm.
just the other day where it's like this totally lend the words you're using lend themselves to cheekiness, but you want not cheekiness. That's okay. I'll do it the way you want to. But in general, right, and like it was very sarcastic and comedic, but they wanted to be very stoic and wisdom oriented. I'm like, okay, no, whatever
Mm,
you want, man. Do the best I can. And then they've changed the script, of course. So, but the point is most of the time the words tell you
yeah.
how to do the narration or how to do the voiceover.
Yeah.
So that awareness is very. So I guess logically the next thing would be, Gabby, how do you build that awareness if you don't have it, or at least you're lacking of it right now?
Man. Oh man.
There you go. Knock you
Oh.
with that one. Join VO Journey Academy. That's what I'm gonna say.
There's not enough time in the day to tackle
Yes,
that one.
yes.
It oh man,
So
there's
so
so
let's
many
so
things.
so think about it from
Let's
let's begin
unpack
with
all
that because there's a lot of
yeah,
awareness
there
we're talking, right? We're talking about
yeah.
awareness across the board, from your tech stuff to your recording stuff to your equipment to directions to narration to your performance to the industry to your fellow people you're working with. All these
Yep.
things, there's awareness everywhere.
Yep.
So just picking one spot, like what from a standpoint of in your particular case, like commercial voice acting, right? What is, where is a building awareness? How does one start with it?
So for me, one of the best things that I ever did was spending time on the other side of the fence. And what do I mean by
Very
that?
true.
Yeah. This is my time in advertising, my time in copywriting, my time in audio production,
Mhm.
like I kind of went like, okay, so if it was like a pin on a board, right? Like voiceover was the center pin, boop, but then I had all these pins around it
Mhm.
that over the years I used to really create the whole picture. And
Mhm.
if I hadn't had those experiences on the other side of the table, I don't know that I'd be as skilled as I am.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. I love that. I had to tell you, for me, running Academy Voices and doing. I can tell you early on, when I first started as an audiobook narrator, the
Mm,
thing that I focused on and I lost sleep over and I tried
mm,
so much was my magical performance.
mm,
How, like, that was so important. And I'm not here telling you it's not. I'm just saying that that's all I thought about. But when I took on and I started Academy Voices and I started publishing, I realized that, you know what, the most important thing to me was not necessarily your performance. The most important thing was, did you name the file right? Did you get rid of the
yes,
mouth noise?
yes.
Was there point 0.5 to 1 seconds in the all of the things that are like none of that has to do with your performance.
None of it. None of it.
But those were the most, because those they sucked up all of my time and effort, and I'm sitting here losing a little bit more hair that I have, thinking, why in the world did they do all of this work but then submit all of these things just like the file's completely wrong? Because I can't use them. So anyway, that's an interesting thing that I learned.
The teacher in you will love this. It reminds me of when I was a kid and I was in grade school. I mean, I was maybe 10, 11 years old. And I wrote a creative like, it was a creative writing exercise, and I wrote a story and, um, you know, I remember getting remarks about, like, the grammar and the spelling and, punctuation and all, and I was like, "Yeah, but what about the story?" And my teacher was like, "Honey, the story doesn't matter if the framework, right, if the package you have put it in
Right.
is not up to speed." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh, yeah," that was like a huge
Yeah.
light bulb for me even as a child.
Yeah. And look, and I know all of us here, I'm sure we can all understand that, of course, at the core of everything is our voice acting. We
Mhm,
know that. So that's a given.
mhm.
But just the it, but a lot of times people that will like hound you about that also have not had time on the other side.
Mm,
Because I like what
true.
we're saying is I'm just trying to tell you, I mean, given that you don't sit there, you're not grunting like, oh, like that's that's your performance. I mean, unless it's called for, right? But like, but generally speaking, you know what I mean? You've been casted because
Mhm.
the audition performance that you did in your audition was very close to what we were looking for. So that's not going to be necessarily in question. What the problem is it's like you're submitting files that are just, I mean, it takes me, so like if like time is so important when you have hundreds of files, when you have all of this stuff that you have to get
Mm,
through as a person on the other end of the fence, for me as a publisher, I guess, if you, or a distributor,
mhm,
whatever you want to
mhm.
call it, and both. And it takes me quadruple the time when someone hasn't named files correctly. When someone, or here's my favorite one. Some people come and they have saved files in like some offbeat constant bit rate. Some strange, like, I'm like, where did you even, how did
How
this
did you
even
find
come to
MU-LAW? Why is
pass?
that here?
Where did what
Yeah.
were you thinking? It's like, which leads me to
Mhm.
believe that they had no idea
Yeah.
of it, or they
Yeah.
weren't aware of what was, and it's not like everything we don't put out, it has it all in there. All the directions have every single thing in there that they need to
That's
do.
typically, yeah.
So I didn't mean for today to be like a dude, you're doing it wrong. So that's not what I meant. I
No,
just
no,
wanted
no.
to talk about how vital it is and how you could be feeling at this moment that things are not working for you, and it's your performance, it's your acting, you're never going to get it right, when in reality it could be something completely under your control.
Yeah.
Like your audio that you're putting in, the files you're
Mhm.
naming, the following the directions that are given.
There's a
Anyway.
lot of variables. A lot. A
I
lot.
I told Gabby this is what I want to talk to you today about today, and Gabby was like, okay. And so
Now I'm
I'm
going,
sorry. It
"Oh,
was
boy."
just on my mind because I'm dealing with a lot, and I'm just like, I
Yeah.
love you all so much, but come on, guys, let's get it right.
Oh,
Okay.
you're like a daddy. It's true.
Ugh.
Voice-over daddy. Okay.
All right, you guys.
So a
Well,
short week,
yep.
not
I
not
know it's my
planned,
fault.
but
It's all my
but
fault.
guys, we'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and the creek don't rise. So,
Mm.
send us more questions. Give us
Absolutely. Questions.
some
I think everybody was just looking
ideas
like,
of
what's
topics.
going on with Anthony today? All right. So
Yeah.
you all are awesome. We love you. Have a wonderful day. We will see you all tomorrow. Mañana. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.